Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Honorable Ma'am April, as a lecturer of speaking for academic purposes subject, and here I'm Putri Rohmawati from PBI A2. And today on this occasion, I would like to present my article with the title of The Implementation of Jigsaw Learning Model in the speaking for senior high school students. And the second one is the obstacle of learning speaking. So this problem faces by some native, some non-native English country, such as Indonesia. The people here are not speaking English in their daily life. So some of English learner are so difficult to find partner to practice speaking. And without practice, we can't master speaking. And the next is about this learning model is expected to help students implement their English speaking skill. That's why we need such as model strategy in English learning that can help students to improve their speaking skills effectively. That's why this is in this research I conducted a jigsaw learning model that it's expected can help students build such as an English environment in the class. And the next is about the literature review. So this is some several theories related to this research. The first one is speaking. What is speaking? Speaking is verbal use of language as a medium through which human beings communicate with each other. Speaking needs a lot of practice to be mastered. There are several aspects in speaking, such as accuracy, fluency, and appropriateness. That's why like I mentioned before that we need to practice to be mastered in speaking. That's why we have to speak in our daily activity. We can speak to the people we met. We can speak with ourselves. The important thing is the point is we have to practice speaking. And then teaching is an art that is that the teacher must create situation to facilitate learning and then motivate learners to have interest in what is being transmitted to them. So in the teaching process there is must such a situation that is teachers put to motivate the students to learn. So the teaching process is not only the deliver information by the teacher to the students, like the teachers is talking, but and the students are only listening. It's not only about that, but there must be a situation in the teaching process, and the situation must support the learning process become better. And the next is about the implementation of teaching technique. So the implementation of teaching technique is important part in successful learning process. It is because an implementation concept is defined as an important building aspect for successful implementation of project materials. That's why in the learning process there must an implementation of teaching technique. So the teacher must choose one or two or more techniques in teaching that can be implemented in the learning process that can help the teaching process becomes effectively, become maximally. And the next is jigsaw learning model. So why I conducted the research by using jigsaw learning model. So jigsaw learning model is a cooperative learning technique in work group design and the implementation of jigsaw each is each student in a group of 4 to 6 members is given a specific piece of a problem based on a particular viewpoint that the whole group is studying. So this will be explained in the result and discussion section. But here I just want to explain a little bit about the implementation of jigsaw. So after the student have studied and become expert in the piece of the problem, they meet in expert groups with their counterparts from others group to focus on the problem. Next, the students return to their original groups and share with their teammates what they have learned previously. So there are several previous studies related to this research. The first, the researchers is Nur Hasanah and Suwartono with the research title Enhancing English Speaking Skill Through Jigsaw Technique. And the result of this research, the student in experiment group got better development in the average scores than the control group in the speaking test. So from this research, um, this research show the positive results from the implementation of jigsaw technique. And the next researcher is Angalia in 2016. And the research title is the implementation of jigsaw export and home group presentation to increase speaking skill of 8th grade students. And the result, students can improve their skills, especially to speak in front of occasion when presenting something in front of the class. So here, this research also show the positive effect. And the next is Alamri in 2018. The effect of using the jigsaw cooperative learning technique on Saudi EFL students' speaking skill. And the result discovered that the participants in the jigsaw group outperformed those of the control group in the speaking competencies such as vocabulary, accuracy, fluency, and pronunciation. So from this result, also show the positive effect by implementing jigsaw learning technique. And the last research from June in 2016 with the title The Implementation of Jigsaw Expert and Home Group Presentation to Increase Speaking Skill. And the result, student speaking skills was increasing because they were trained to speak from smaller group that was expert group, then moved to bigger group that was in their respective home group presentation. So from those previous studies are showed positive results from the implementation of jigsaw learning technique. And the next is about the method. So this study used qualitative approach with study of literature as a data collection method. So this is the research. And this research, I need to know the implementation, the advantage and the obstacle, and also the strategies to implement jigsaw learning technique or jigsaw learning model in the teaching speaking class. So study literature is a systematic scientific bibliography research method, which includes the collection of bibliography materials which are related to the research objectives. This library research, which was carried out using literature or library, both in the form of books, notes, and reports of the previous research results. So here, I got the information from books, notes, and the reports by online or and all offline. So, well, the method used was the content analysis. So this is uh, the analyze technique. This analyze was used to obtain validity inference and could be examined based on the context. So the analyze that I use in this research is content analyze. The process of this analyze was selecting, comparing, combining, and sorting the previous content that are relevant to the data. So that was the method that I used in this article. From the previous studies that I found, there are at least 10 steps in implementing jigsaw learning model. The first step, form the class into jigsaw group. So the teacher must form the class into several groups. It can be 4 or 5 groups, depend on the amount of the class in the group. Depend on the amount of the students in the class, and then choose a leader of each group. So the leader should a student that have maturity. So the students must be the most mature student in the group, and then divide this lesson into 4 or 5 segments. For example, the day's lesson is about the narrative text. So the teacher must divide narrative text into 5 or 4 segments. For example, the first segment is about the social function, and then the second segment is about the generic structure, and then the third segment is about the example of narrative text, and then etc. After that, assign every student to learn one segment. For example, student A must learn about the social function. Student B must learn about the example of the narrative text, and etc. And then let the students learn their own segment until they become familiar with it. So the teacher must give the students several times to learn their segments. For example, the students A must learn about the social function. She or he can get the information from books, from internet, and others. And then after that, form temporary group that is called as expert group by having of each students from jigsaw group to join others who have same segment. So the students A that learn about the social function of the narrative text, she or he should meet um, the students from another group that also learn about the social function of narrative text, and also the students B, student C, student D, and etc. also have to do the same thing. They have to join the other students that also learn the same segment. And then after that, bring back the students to their jigsaw group. So after all the students that have the same segments discussing about their segments, they have to come back to their jigsaw group. And after that, ask each of students in jigsaw group to present the main point of their segment clearly. So in the jigsaw group, the students that learn about the social function have to deliver the information, have to present the information about the social function of narrative text clearly, and then also the students B, the students C, and etc. They until all the students have presented their material. And then pay attention to each group in order to observe their process. So here, the role of the teacher here as observer and facilitator. The teacher must observe all the group in the class and observe whether any group face difficulty either in um, presenting material or either in uh, understanding the material. So the teacher should help the group that face difficulty. And then in the end of the learning activity, give the students assignment or quizzes um, to evaluate the students' understanding about the material that is learning with jigsaw learning model. I found several advantages but I just put 3 in this presentation. So the first advantage is Jigsaw is an alternative to motivate the students for having an interactive interaction and communication among others in the class. So as we discussed about the implementation of Jigsaw learning model can help the students to be more active in the class because they have to discuss, they have to present, they have to listen, and they have to do the assignment. So it can help students to be more active in the class. And then the implementation of jigsaw learning model with cooperative learning technique. Cooperative learning technique here is so useful for students in learning process. They can share their understanding to their friends, and their friend can get understanding in different perspective, and it can build such as comprehension in the learning process that is so useful to be master in some subject. And then it can encourage students speaking skill. The domination of teacher in speaking class is an appropriate regards learning language is a habit. In order to be master in English, teachers should build English environment in class. So as we know that learning a language, especially in speaking, needs a lot of practice and um, domination of teacher in speaking class isn't appropriate. For example, when the teachers are talking while the students are only listening, and it's not appropriate in teaching because the students must find their own understanding through the materials, and it also can build English environment in class by by implementing jigsaw method. It can help this teacher to build an English environment in the class. The students can speak, can present the material in English. They can discuss with their friends in English. They can write the material in English and etc. So the obstacle of jigsaw learning model here, the jigsaw learning model cannot be applied in difficult subject and the student who don't have a basic in English skill. As we know, the student in a jigsaw group should learn by themselves. And when the students are given such as difficult subjects, they can find difficulty to understand the subject. And the students should speak in English, should deliver information in English, should read the information in English, and it's so difficult when the students don't have the basic in English. And then it's also difficult to be applied when the students have low attention. Low attention here means that the student cannot follow the instruction. So it will be the obstacle, it will be the problem in jigsaw group when one or some students are misunderstood with the instruction. And then the problem of the slow students need an extra time in absorbing information and completing the task. And then the student may become bored, impatient, and resentful of slower students. It happens when their ability to absorb the information are so quick. So this is the problem when there are several intelligent students in the group, in the jigsaw group. Some of students are so active to deliver information, where others are felt left out. They are become not inactive in the group, and it's not good in the learning process. And the next is the limited time was when the obstacle that faces by the teacher. So as we know that the jigsaw learning model needs an extra time, need an extra time to for the students to learning their own segment, and then an extra time for the student to present their information and discussion again, and then the quizzes. And so in implementing jigsaw learning model, the teacher need an extra time. These are the strategies of implementing jigsaw learning model. So the first one, the structures, means material, media, and professional teacher. So the teacher should prepare a lot before implementing jigsaw. The preparation of material, media, and being a professional teacher in the learning process. And then the teacher management system. This is the way the teacher define the group, the teacher choose this leader. So the teacher should be a good manager in the learning process. And then social skill. Social skill come from the group member of the students itself. Social skill includes students' motivation and students' ability in speaking. So before implementing jigsaw, the teacher should give the student motivation or give the students train how to be a good speaker. And then the last is about uh, time. So in implementing jigsaw learning model, the teacher should have many times, because if there is limited of time, the jigsaw learning model cannot be implemented perfectly. So those are the information in my article. I hope it's useful for us. And thank you so much for your nice attention. And the last I say, wabillahi taufiq wal hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you and have a nice day.